Lincoln, Nebraska, 3:30 on CBS brings us one of my favorite matchups of the weekend. The number 21 Michigan Wolverines go on the road to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Just a national treasure in so many eyes of college football. Nebraska used to be the head honchos of college football, and once everyone else got on TV, well, they kind of took a downward spiral really quickly. They obviously had some strides in the 90s. Now they're looking to make their way back under head coach Matt Rhule. Second or third year for Matt Rhule? Third year for Matt Rhule. Excuse me. Sorry. My apologies. Third year for Matt Rhule, and they've started out hot. 3-0, first time as an underdog in 2025. And Michigan currently favored in this one by 2.5 points on the road. We know the biggest storyline is Sherrone Moore will not be on the sidelines for this game. He's not allowed to coach. He's suspended for a little while. Don't know how much longer, but he will not be at this game. Instead, they'll have an interim head coach for this game, and I believe it's their offensive line coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think
maybe the defensive coordinator. I can't remember. But nonetheless, Sherrone Moore will not be there. This is an interesting matchup, Brad. Nebraska coming into this one, they've gone 2-1 against the spread this year. Since he was a no cover, then big covers versus Akron and
Houston Christian
University. Excuse me, might as well have been Academy, right? But no, Brad. For me, my first question to you is this line saying coin flip with the helmet bias, or do the books still doubt Nebraska's schedule so far?
I think it's a little bit of. There's still some doubt from the Nebraska side. They did not look overly impressive against Cincinnati, and if you read the media and articles and read some stuff the Friday after that game against Cincinnati, it was like Nebraska won. They didn't look that great versus Michigan. Yes, they've already got a loss, but we kind of know what they are. Bryce Underwood, every time we see him, he just continues to develop and continues to get better. We know this Michigan defense is just nasty. So I think it's a little bit of, this is, to me, Nate, truly the first test for Nebraska, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Look, Dylan Raiola, year 2 for him under Matt Rhule, had a shaky start as a freshman, highly ranked coming out of high school, right up the road from us at Buford High School. I believe he was the number 1 quarterback in the nation, if not top 2.
Yeah.
And depending on what you're looking at, but either way, very talented guy coming out, and now he's become a mini Patrick Mahomes in some eyes. I don't get it, but he's still really talented. 829 yards so far through the season, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's gotten better with protecting the football, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he's taken a step forward. It may not be a big step,
right?
Keep in mind, he's only a sophomore.
Right.
We put such high expectations on these guys. Now the expectations on Bryce Underwood, right? Can he perform? But before we get to Michigan, my biggest question to you is, which changes more with a win? Nebraska's AP ranking or their Vegas power rating?
Well, look, if Nebraska wins this game, how do you keep them out of the top 25? To me, you can't.
You can't. No.
And I know it's outside of Cincinnati, once again, the competition has not been great, but Nebraska deserves a top 25 ranking with a win here on Saturday versus Michigan.
Yeah, and Nebraska has been one of those teams that, they went from beating who they should to winning toss-ups that define seasons.
Yeah.
Just last year and previous years under Scott Frost, this was always a team that could fight. They were battle-tested, and just at the end, they would make a mistake. Just at the end, they would make a mistake and fumble it, throwing a pick. It seems like the culture is kind of shifting in Nebraska's favored. Talk about the cultural stamp: physical, discipline, situational football that travels in November. That's what Nebraska's waiting to see this year, especially the fans. And man, you bank this win, every late game's leverage rises. USC at home becomes an elimination stage feel almost. My biggest question to you in this realm is bigger downstream effect: high school recruiting pop or portal selectivity leverage for Nebraska?
I think Nebraska with a win like this, it says to me that, hey, Matt Rhule's got this thing going in Lincoln. If you're a high school recruit, come play for me. Nate, something that stood out to me is Nebraska is not the easiest place to recruit, but guess what? Matt Rhule pulled, I believe it was I know it was a top 25 class. It may even been a borderline top 20 class, depending on, who you look at. But him and his staff, they are good recruiters. They pull guys from Nebraska, they pull guys there from the Midwest and the Southwest. They get some guys from Florida. If they win this game, they've got a legit chance to make the playoff.
I agree.
I'm not trying to jump ahead that much, but the schedule's super favorable. I mean, you look, and really the tough games after this are USC and Penn State. There's some others, but Nebraska wins this one. There's going to be some fuel behind the Cornhuskers for sure.
They'll be favored in most games moving forward, no doubt. And you look at the receiving core for Nebraska. They go out and get Dane Key from Kentucky. Yeah. He's been a big contributor for Raiola. He's that trusted target.
He's the number one guy that we talked about in our portal episode with him.
And we knew he was going to be a difference maker. Didn't know he would get started this early on. 13.
He's been tremendous,
13 receptions, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. Barney Jr. as well, 15 receptions, 181, 1 touchdown. Mills Jr., 5 receptions, 118, 1 touchdown. And then even the tight end gets some love in this one. Lindenmeyer, great name as well. 9 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. That's the biggest thing that's impressed me so far is Raiola spreading the ball around. Mm-hmm. We would see him last year get a little shaky in the pocket, maybe make 1 read, 2 max, and take off running. He's impressed me in that way.
You brought up a good point. That is his growth. I also think it's the Dana Holgorsen effect. I think he's helped him in that regard.
He's had a full off season with Holgorsen, and that makes a difference. Along with the transfer Dane Key, that's boosted his confidence tremendously. To know that you can just throw it up to a guy like Dane Key, and he's going to go up there and have not a 50-50 chance, but probably a 70-30 chance. He's a playmaker. Yep. My question to you is: if Nebraska gets only one, if Nebraska only gets one plus 1 turnover margin or 2 30-plus yard plays, what's more valuable in this total?
To me, that's easy. It's the more explosive plays. This is a nasty Michigan defense. There's NFL guys all over this defense, and I made this comment a couple weeks ago when we previewed Oklahoma, Michigan. Michigan is not rebuilding on defense; they reload, and just thinking about Ernest Hausman, Moore, Benny, Pierce, Etta. Nate, I don't think they're quite as talented in the secondary, but when you got a front 7 like that,
it makes things a little easier.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It does make things a little bit easier. And I think Nebraska, if they want to pull the upset, they're going to have to hit on some explosives. I don't know that you grind away and have a 8, 9, 10 play drive against this Michigan defense. You got to rely on Dane Key. You got to rely on Barney and Nazir Hunter. Nate, 2 other guys I want to throw out who I'm really impressed with. Emmett Johnson and Ives, they're 2 running backs. We know Dylan Raiola is not a big time runner. He can make some plays with legs, but I think Johnson and Ives are going to have to be very critical in this game just to keep that front 7 honest, to where they're not just bringing the house
bull rush and everything.
Exactly, to where they're not bringing the house on Dylan Raiola.
Well, that's my biggest thing is if Michigan can get to Raiola early with just 4. It's going to be a long day for this Nebraska offense, and that crowd's going to be real quiet real soon. Defense travels. We talked about Bryce Underwood playing in an environment like Norman, Oklahoma, and how much that affected him. I'm telling you right now, this Nebraska stadium and Lincoln Memorial Stadium,
it's going to be
they are one of the loudest, greatest crowds in all of college football, if not the best. That's going to be a big difference in this one too. People don't understand how much home field advantage can help. Michigan's only favored by 2.5 in this one. If Michigan's at home, they're probably favored by 6.5, 7 in my opinion. Absolutely. And you talk about Emmett Johnson in the run game, 5'11", 200 pounds. This guy's just a bully, man. And he makes defenders pay. As good as Michigan's defense is, they're not a lead up front like they've been. And this secondary is going to get tested early, in my opinion. They're going to keep them honest. They're going to spread the ball out quickly. Maybe they start out with some screen game. Matt Rhule, Holgorsen, they're going to dial up some great offensive plays early on against this Michigan defense.
I think you're going to see, I would say within the first 5 plays, I think you're going to see a downfield shot to Dane Key.
Why not?
I think you've got to try to loosen up this Michigan defense, and I think you will see a shot play to Dane Key very early in this game.
My question to you, and this is off the rip, this isn't even on our notes. Who's the better quarterback in this game? Is it Bryce Underwood, freshman, or sophomore Dylan Raiola?
I got to be honest. I'm going. Give me Bryce Underwood.
Wow.
I like Dylan Raiola. And I will say I'm answering this question right now and long-term ceiling. Give me Bryce Underwood, and I think he's a little bit more accurate. I think he's a little bit more creative, and then there's that X factor playmaking ability. Give me Bryce Underwood, and that's really tough because we're talking about a guy that's had almost a season and a half versus a guy that's in his fourth career start, who's barely 18 years old, his second career start on the road. I'm a big Bryce Underwood believer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what takes place Saturday. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to you. Michigan favored by 2.5. Bryce Underwood on the road. Can he get it done? Or will Nebraska, quote unquote, shock the world as an underdog and slay the dragon in Michigan?
If you've watched any of our stuff from Brett the Huddle, you know how much Nate and I love Matt Rhule. I love Matt Rhule. I hope that we can make it out to the Nebraska game sometime. I like Nebraska. I like what
it's a great stadium. I've been.
Great stadium. And Nate made a great point. He's changed that culture this year. And I'm a big believer. I think that they've got something special this year. I think they can go a long way. But to me, Nate, this comes down to Bryce Underwood and that running game. We didn't really talk about it, but Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall, that running game is special. And one final guy, Chip Lindsey. Chip Lindsey, the new offensive coordinator for Michigan. He's made a difference. Give me the Wolverines. It's going to be close. I just think it's this dynamic running game, and I think it's this defense that makes the difference. And I think Dylan Raiola ends up making a mistake, and it costs him. Give me Michigan on Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup. Saturday in Lincoln, Nebraska, 3:30 kickoff on CBS, which is, we don't really see much great Big Ten ball on CBS, at least this far. Unfortunately, Gary's going to be on the call.
Unfortunately, Gary's going to be on the
Gary Danielson's going to be on the call, and that's probably going to be the only reason why I don't watch this game. But no, I'll
watch
probably
it on mute.
Yeah, I'll watch it on mute. That's a good idea. But no, you talk about Matt Rhule and how he's changed the culture. These fans have always had a great culture. They've always believed. Now the team believes.
Right.
Now the players believe that they can do it. Give me Nebraska in an upset on Saturday.
Okay.
I know I'm taking a flyer here.
Either.
I'm taking a flyer here, but listen, week 4 college football, you get Michigan early. They're still trying to figure out who they are. Sherrone Moore's not there. He's not coaching. This is the time for Nebraska to slay the dragon, and I think they do it Saturday afternoon on CBS, 3:30. Danielson on the call. He's going to go wild if Nebraska wins this. But yeah, give me the Cornhuskers in a late win. I think it comes down late fourth quarter, but I think they edge out.
Okay.
Nebraska fans, Michigan fans, drop your comments down below. Let us know your score predictions. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Appreciate all the support thus far. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We're really close. We're above 600 right now. Like this video, share it with your friends, and turn on that bell notification so you can stay up to date when we post our latest content. We'll see you next week. It's time to break the huddle.